Edmonton XL 92.5 FM.
All right, we welcome you in. The new drug today is one day closer to that schedule release. I love schedule releases.
They're so much fun.
The NFL is so smart. I mean, they are so smart. You know, that they I mean, it's freaking May, and what we're all locked into when the freaking games are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And at first I thought, well, it's just us because we're an NFL town and it's the only team we have. But it's not. It's everywhere. I mean, everybody is locked into this dang release. Now, I will say this: the NBA has gotten the NBA and the NHL have gotten due because they're supposed to get a lot of attention now because they're in their playoffs, and they have. I think it seems to be a talked about playoff for both entities. But here's the NFL. Haven't played a game since February. Best I can tell, they're not playing a real game till September. So we're right in the middle of those two. And here we are, locked into a dang schedule release. Showbiz, man, and they're good at it.
There's only one thing the NFL is missing, and it is a draft lottery.
Yeah. Well, there is that.
Yeah. But I do. Yeah. In fact, we'll do a hammer time later today where I will once again lobby for the NFL to have a draft lottery.
Right.
And again, I'm sure we'll get into the NBA one last night because I would not want the NFL one to mirror that one. But yeah, I mean, it's the schedule is. It's an incredibly important piece of data in terms of how your team is going to perform. In terms of rest, do you have 3 or 4 teams that have a bye week before they play you? That matters. If no one has a bye week before they play you, then that matters. So obviously, with having the West Coast trips, how do those fall? Where are the division games? Do you open at home? Do you close at home? I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. So it's exciting. And obviously we know the opponent. Imagine if you didn't know the opponents. Then it would really be like, oh, wow. But in this, the way the league has done it forever is we know the opponents. We just don't know the order.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. And we know the opponents because we know the form because there's a formula. Mm-hmm. And that's right. So but we'll see. The schedule releases tomorrow night. So we maybe can guess a little bit today. Tomorrow by then stuff will have seeped out. So, but may not have seeped out. I'll give them credit. Other than the Eagles, which we know it's interesting. We now know the Eagles' schedule for the next 8 years.
Yes,
but I mean they're every game they'll ever play in the history of the franchise.
It's incredible.
In the future of the franchise.
I honestly, I think 80% of the games that have been revealed,
the Eagles,
particularly the games being played in this country,
right,
are all involving Philadelphia.
They are. So we certainly know their schedule. So we'll talk about it. We'll get into international games. I do have some thoughts about the road games and how they play, and we'll get to that. Again, we've known it's not like it's news. We've known forever who the opponents are. But I will say this, and I'm being very honest. Usually by now, somewhere along the line, I've gotten a tip on a game here, a game. I don't have any tips on this one. I am telling you the honest truth. I could not tell you. London game we kind of knew for a while. I will tell you that we had an idea what was going to happen in London for a while, but I cannot tell you where any of the other 16 are going to fall. I mean, and I'm not faking it. Sometimes I don't know. I truly don't know.
Yeah, I would agree. I think around the league, the teams have done a good job in keeping it a secret. They've known. I mean, they've had it for a while now. I also think each team really wants to ramp up their schedule release. Obviously, the Jaguars were wildly successful with that a couple of years ago when they did the one with Asher Grodman, was it?
Right.
Grodman?
Who did such a great job. Grodman, who did such a good job.
Yeah, such a great job with that one. So, but that's around the league. Teams want to have that ready to go right as soon as 8 o'clock hits on Wednesday. So, and if people know 5 or 6 of the games, then obviously maybe there isn't as much interest in that. So, yeah, I think it makes sense for the clubs. It's to their benefit to keep it a secret as best they can. And yeah, so far, other than the games that networks have announced that they're proud to announce, matchups for, we haven't gotten a lot of just the random leaks yet.
Right. So we'll certainly talk a lot about that today. The big news in the world of sports: Pete Rose has had his ban lifted. Shoeless Joe too, but I don't think there's been enough conversation about Shoeless Joe Jackson. I don't know if I'm happy or annoyed. He just died. And you couldn't have done this 1 year before he died or 8 years before. Pete Rose belongs in the Hall, I think. So I don't know where I am on it. I think he belongs in. It annoys me to no end that it almost seems like they waited for him to die,
right,
and then put him in. If that,
there's no other way to see it.
And yeah, but I don't know how I feel. I don't. I mean, does that make sense?
I feel like it cheapens it for sure.
I'm glad
he's
very
going
gross.
in, but I agree. It just there's an uncouthness to this. Like it's just
2 years ago, he would have had a year or so to enjoy this, and whereas that probably wasn't enough, I could have lived with it.
I think they didn't want him to make a single dollar off of it, and
hard to argue that, isn't it? It's hard to argue.
Again, I don't know how you could. I mean, what are we to believe that just in the last few months
he's changed his tune totally?
Major League Baseball decides, you know what, he really shouldn't be. So I mean, obviously, I would think this was part of the long-term plan that was probably passed down from commissioner to commissioner of, we will put him in, but we will not do it while he is alive.
If that is the plan, why not wait a couple years?
I agree. What's the rush
gross.
now? I mean, just hold off a couple years, and then when you announce it, there is some distance, and the public's probably. I think overall, the public is gonna, be receptive to the news. But how could you not feel like there's a little bit of a wow? He really was serving like it feels like he was serving like a lifetime sentence. And I mean, it's a little too literal, I think, for a game.
Bart Giamatti suspended him, put the lifetime ban in place, and Rose accepted it in August of 1989. It was in 1989 that this happened, and I'm sure Rose accepted it, thinking at some point it would be lifted. And again, Rob Manfred, Shoeless Joe Jackson, who obviously the White Sox scandal, or the Black Sox scandal, rather, people that know baseball know that story, and others that are now able to go in too. I don't know. I don't like how I feel right now. I wanted all along. I thought if they ever lifted it, it would be a glorious day for baseball. I don't know. When I say I don't know that it is, not because I think he shouldn't be in. I think he should. But anyway, so it's just a weird feeling when I saw the story.
Well, it just shows, again, Rob Manfred, who's done some good things in terms of pace of play.
Of late.
And things that, yes, of late. Because for a while he was, just an abject embarrassment as commissioner for Major League Baseball. But, this again just shows, a lack of having a pulse. Of what the public wants and how to do something with some grace to it. And it just comes across heavy-handed that, now all of a sudden Rob Manfred is like, oh, he's now the ban's lifted, he can go in. It feels crass.
Yeah,
and that's a shame.
Yeah, it really is a shame. So Pete Rose, and by the way, he should go in today. Today, don't wait. He should go in today. Just so you know, today. He should go in before we get off the air. He should be in. And so,
instead it'll be 2027.
Yeah. And by the way, Pete Rose.
Why is it 2027?
I
guess because this ballot's already been filled for the next season. I guess they've already done the ballot. Maybe I have no idea.
Yeah. Pete Rose had 4,256 hits. 4,256 hits. Who's second? Jeter? Is Jeter second? Who's second in hits?
I think Jeter is maybe fourth or something like that.
But isn't it probably Ty Cobb who he passed?
Yeah, that's who I would think.
Ty Cobb? But he's got
it's still Ty Cobb.
4,256 hits.
So this story on ESPN is saying that based on current rules for players who played more than 15 years ago, it appears the earliest Rose and Jackson could be enshrined is summer of 2028 if they are elected. So I guess they have to go to more of the veterans route than the traditional, guys that recently retired. So who knows? But it's just a bad look for Rob Manfred. Yeah. It's like you've been the commissioner. Yeah. You could have done this a long time ago. Yeah. And again, why not create a little bit more space between Pete Rose's passing and this decision?
Or also to make it seem like what Pete Rose did was on the same level as Shoeless Joe is also disingenuous.
Correct. Great point.
They literally threw the World Series. Right. I know there's a lot of controversy about how much Joe actually did to hurt his team in that World Series, but I mean,
he was in the group.
Exactly.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's a great.
This guy bet on his team. Yeah. Never was found to be betting against his team. It's just completely different.
Yeah. And by the way, as much of a gambler as he was, Pete Rose was such a freaking competitor.
Exactly.
There's no way he would have bet against his team. And by the way, here's what the rule should say, Hays. You have to wait for the Veterans Committee 2 years, which in this case would be 2028, unless you have 4,256 hits, okay? That should trump whatever the damn Veterans Committee rule is.
This is a Hall of Fame that has Harold Baines in it.
I know. Yeah, that's a great point. Great. Harold Baines is in, and Pete Rose has the deceased Pete Rose waits till 28. Anyway, so we can talk forever about that. But I don't know how I feel. I feel it feels dirty. It feels gross, like JJ said. I think it's a good description of it. All right, a lot of things to talk about. We'll talk some basketball. How about the Knicks? The Celtics now, even had Tatum not gotten hurt, he was playing great until he did. They were done. We were wrong, JJ.
I was very wrong. They were going to win that game without Tatum at the end.
Yeah.
And when you're up 3-1, you're going to win the series.
Yeah. So the Knicks are going to win the series. The Knicks and the Pacers, give them credit. I mean, they have played great. So how about this? No Lakers, no Celtics, no Warriors. There's your NBA. Okay.
Good luck.
No Lakers. No
Adam
Lakers.
Silver was so upset he had to fix the lottery last night.
I guess he did. That's all the talk. So we'll certainly talk. We'll talk a little bit about the lottery. We'll talk some NBA, by the way. I'll tell you something about NBA mock drafts. We'll get to that later on in the program today. I want to talk about the ACC. The ACC's here. The meetings are here. Good to see the boys from Primetime made their way out there and talked to Dabo and others.
They got some great interviews, as always.
They really did. Did a wonderful job out there. What's next for the ACC? The FSU Clemson departure never happened. I got a lot of thoughts about that. You brought on one of the most well-known coaches in the sport in the last 50 years.
Frank Reich.
Yeah, Frank Reich. So well played. So we'll certainly. There's a lot of things we'll. That was funny. There's a lot of things we'll get to coming up on the program today. I want to get to that. But I want to start with the schedule. The fact that you now know the date of the London game. The Jags play the Rams. There's some other international games. What are the advantages of the international game? Is for Jacksonville, are they there? Are they not there? We'll talk about some of the road trips. What's coming up, not that it's news. We've already known who the opponents are. Let's talk Jaguars schedule a little bit. What we do know, we'll know more tomorrow, obviously. We'll talk about that. I want to talk ACC a little bit later on. I'm going to talk NBA mock draft, sort of. All that coming up. Glad you are with us on this Tuesday installment of the program. Our Tuesdays are always brought to you by the Nimnick family of dealerships. I sure appreciate my friends from Nimnick, Billy Nimnick, Lee Nimnick, a wonderful family. They've done it for the longest time. Nimnick Chevrolet is on Cassett Avenue. I bought a car there in 1982. Been buying my cars there ever since. First time I ever bought a car by myself. That was from Nimnick Chevrolet. Nimnick Buick GMC is on Phillips Highway. Let's talk some Jaguars football, scheduling, and more after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Oh, can you do the trailer guy voice? 1010XL.
Not bad.
Nailed it. 1010XL. Jacksonville Sports Radio.
This is Hays Carlyon for Kingfish Pest Control. Mosquito season is upon us, but don't let them take over. The secret to a bite-free yard is starting today with Kingfish Pest Control. Their 3-step mosquito defense process stops them before they can spread. Eliminate breeding areas. Build a protective barrier around your yard and monthly treatments to keep them away all season long. The earlier you start, the fewer mosquitoes you'll have to fight. Don't let those pests ruin your outdoor fun. Call Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jaguars.
Homeowners, storms don't wait, so why should you? Protect your home and your wallet with Universal Roof and Contracting. Save 15% on roof replacements and repairs now through May 31st. Financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting. Protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
I'm Julie Harrell.
I grew up here in Jacksonville and have seen our city grow as well as the number of car crashes. If you need help after a crash, choose a law firm with an actual office here. Lawyers you can meet with face-to-face and who specialize in personal injury. At Harrell & Harrell, we've been here for nearly 40 years, developing relationships with local doctors, law enforcement, helping people just like you. If you've been injured in a crash, call Harrell & Harrell. Offices, Jacksonville.
Calling all poker enthusiasts. The Poker Atlas Tour is bringing 7 action-packed poker events to Best Bet St. Augustine, June 5th to June 15th, including Event 1, a $300 no-limit hold'em tournament featuring a $100,000 guarantee, and the $600 no-limit hold'em title event with a $200,000 guarantee. Satellites are happening now at Best Bet St. Augustine. For tournament structures and all the details, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Hacker here, and let's talk sincerity. You know, there's a big difference between someone tossing you a casual, hey, how you doing, and genuinely asking, no, really, how are you doing? At Awaken 180, I felt that sincerity every single week while dropping 122 pounds, and I still feel it every month in free maintenance for life. Sure, seeing that number plunge on the scale was incredible, but what truly pushed me across the goal line? My amazing Awaken 180 coaches. They coached me up like I was prepping for draft day, always in my corner, sincerely invested in my success, and check this out. I'm going on a cruise in a couple of weeks, complete with formal night. Now, normally, cameras and I have a strained relationship. I hated taking pictures, but thanks to Awaken 180, the camera and I have made peace. No more ducking photos. Want results you can actually keep? Do what we all did and call 844-346-1800 or book online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Something big is coming, and 1010XL is about to reveal it. Join 1010XL all day Thursday for the big reveal. Delivered by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning, and Renewal by Anderson, Custom Windows and Doors.
AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
The team at Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to book your next round of golf with us. At Hidden Hills, we love the game, and we'll provide you with a memorable golf experience at one of the most unique golf courses in North Florida. Check us out at hiddenhillsgc.com.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Summer's here, and you can now get almost anything you need for your sunny days delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a well-groomed lawn delivered, but you can get a chicken parmesan delivered. A cabana? That's a no. But a banana? That's a yes. A nice tan? Sorry, nope. But a box fan? Happily, yes. A day of sunshine? No. A box of fine wines? Yes. Uber Eats can definitely get you that. Get almost anything delivered with Uber Eats. Order now. Alcohol in select markets. Product availability may vary by region. See app for details.
Jacksonville Hickens calling it. Checkmate Coating, my MVP. Tough, slick floors that dominate any space.
Checkmate Coatings. Your floor's missing piece.
Keep your ride summer road trip ready with parts, tools, and accessories from Summit Racing. We have what you need for pre-trip maintenance, plus essentials like emergency roadside kits, tire inflators, jumper cables, boost jump starters, tool sets, and a whole lot more. So hit the highways or take the roads less traveled with confidence. Shop SummitRacing.com. Use promo code RADIO for $10 off an order of $100 or more. Exclusions apply. Offer ends May 25th, 2025. SummitRacing.com. Let's build it together.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
We do thank our friends from the Nimnick family of dealerships. Nimnick Chevrolet on Cassett, Nimnick Buick GMC on Phillips Highway. For the longest time, 1941 is right, and I've been buying my cars there since 1982. That's a long time, too. I really trust my friends at the Nimnick family of dealership. Bill Nimnick Jr. sold me my first car, taught me how to buy a car. Now his son, Billy III, runs the joint. They do a fantastic, fantastic job. So head to Nimnick if you're looking for an automobile. Frangie and Carlyon with you, JJ LaSelva. It was announced today that the Jags London game, only one game this year in London. There have been two the last few years. Only one game this year, a home game, and it's against the Rams on October 19th, kind of the middle of the pack season. It is on the 19th. How have you felt about the London games? The advantage, is the advantage clear? In your opinion, I got a lot of thoughts on it. I want you to go first. Clear advantage for the Jags, not much of an advantage for the Jags, good that they're there, bothersome. Where are you on the whole thing?
I think it's a definite advantage at this point. I mean, they've been doing this since 2013. And so they had some trial and error from 2013 through 2016, 17, and then they settled on a routine that really has worked for them, and they've stuck to it. And, you know, when they have had the opportunity to play the second game, they've played well. They're obviously that's not going to be applicable to this season. But, you know, I saw Gene and I went just as fans to the second London game last year when they played the Patriots. And obviously the Jaguars had been very disappointing in a loss at Tottenham to the Bears the week prior. And while the Patriots weren't a very good team, the Jaguars in the second half dominated the game. They actually got off to kind of a sleepy start, and New England early on kind of had early control, I would say. But as the game played out, a very flawed Jaguars team was way superior to New England. And I did notice that it feels like the crowd has gotten more behind the Jaguars. It's still, I wouldn't say, is, you know, obviously something that you'd see here in Jacksonville. But my recollection, I hadn't gone since 2017, 2016 when I worked for the Times-Union. And at that point, it was basically like a total neutral site game. So I think you can tell that the fans over there have somewhat gone to the Jaguars side a bit on it. But yeah, I think having the logistics down pat like they do, knowing exactly what to expect, having players that have done it multiple times, I think that all of that helps and aids. So yeah, I would say the Jaguars have probably as good or better of a chance to beat the Rams at Wembley Stadium as they would have in Jacksonville.
The proof that it's an advantage is that they're over 500 in those games. They're 7-6. Well, the Jags, God bless them, since 2013 when they started going over there, aren't over 500 in many ways. The reality is they have not had very many good seasons. They had a good season in 17. They had a pretty good season in 22, and that's about it. So for a team that has had, of those years they've been going over there, for a team that's had losing records, 9 of the 11? You know, it's more than 11 years. It's 13 years?
Yeah.
Well, that's more than that.
The other thing, too,
because it's 13 games.
Well, the other thing, too, the first two times they went to London, they had no chance to beat the 49ers or the Cowboys.
Right, got blown out both times.
Yeah, so, I mean, that 7-6 is even more impressive when you consider that once they found their footing with the trip, they've been, they've been well over 500.
Good point. 7-6, 7-4 since those first two games. That's a great point. 7-4 since those first two games. But the point is, the reason I pointed out is if you're 7-6 in a stretch where the rest of the time you haven't been very good, that means it's an advantage. They've also beaten some named teams. You said the Patriots weren't very good when they beat them, but they beat the Patriots. They beat the Ravens 44-7 over there. They've beaten the Bills twice over there. They beat the Colts over there. So they certainly have. They beat the Dolphins over there. So they certainly beat some.
Urban Meyer won in London.
Well said. That might be better than any point that may make my point better than anything I've said. So the point is, it's clearly when they're good. And now 17 they were good, but were they 44-7 over the Ravens? Good.
that was a week 3 game.
Yep.
And it was clear the Jaguars knew exactly what that trip entailed, and the Ravens had no idea.
Correct.
I think even that week it was kind of a storyline that Harbaugh and some of the players were like, honestly, we have no idea what we might be. Are we taking a ship over there? I think Harbaugh was quoted as like, is this a voyage or how are we doing? I mean, I think logistically were a mess. And yeah, I mean, how often do the Ravens lose a game by 4 touchdowns?
I mean, the John Harbaugh Ravens never lose a game like that. So the proof is, again, the 7-6 record for a team that in that stretch has not had many winning records. That's the proof. That's the validation that it benefits them to go play in London. So I think so as far as win-loss, I think it does. I think they tend to play better than the opponent. The other thing too is, I think this one game is probably better. The 2 games, it was listen, they're 3-1 in the years they played 2 games. So 3-1 is pretty good. But I wonder the effect the 2 games had on them as they move forward.
It takes a toll.
You got to wonder if it took a toll a little bit.
I think it did.
I mean, it was a long trip, but you're still human. I wonder. I would tell you. I think when teams go somewhere, just the international games. Is it the Vikings that play back-to-back international games?
Yeah, I was shocked by that. And they're the road team in both of those.
Yeah, so they play back-to-back. I think they're not in the same city, but
it's Dublin and then Tottenham.
Yeah, but they're back-to-back. Mm-hmm. So that's going to take a toll on them moving forward. I think teams that go to the West Coast and stay for 2 weeks, or West Coast teams that go to the East Coast to stay for 2 weeks, I think it has a toll on them. You're away from your family for 10, 12 days. So I think the fact that it's one game this year, I think is beneficial to the Jags. I think the fact that it's at Wembley, most of the players on this team, or certainly many of them, certainly know that venue. They certainly know the drill. If they're staying at the Grove this year, which I would assume they're going to, they know that. They know how long to expect the bus ride to take. They know the practice facility. They know how the requirements of them at the practice facility. We've all been at the Grove.
They know how the crowd will be.
They know they have
the crowd cheers at weird times sometimes.
Correct. The grass is weird. It's a different kind of turf. So I would imagine that benefits them. So we'll see if it does or not. But I like that. The other thing about the schedule is there's a lot of long trips this year. There are, and again, West Coast teams say, hold my beer. We have a lot of long trips every year. I get that. I thought about this. Guy says a lot of long trips. I'm thinking, what are the Rams and the 49ers and the Seahawks? What's the Chargers? What's their answer to this? The Eastern Coast teams whining about a lot of long trips. They have long trips every year. But there's a lot of long trips. I wonder, and again, I don't know, my expectation will be that there will not be back-to-back West Coast games. I don't know that. I'm just guessing that there won't be, that Arizona and Vegas won't be back-to-back. And so I don't know. I'm guessing at that. We'll see if it winds up happening that way. I will say this. The good of it is, if there is a good of it, and the Jaguar fans travel so well, could be some fun trips. I mean, if that's the goal, apart from the team's goal is winning the game, the fans' goal is you want to win the game. You also, look, you're spending a lot of your own disposable income here. Go have fun. I will say this. If you're picking between Denver, San Francisco, Phoenix, and Vegas, and London, those are some pretty good options. You don't know when the games are going to fall, but those could be some pretty good options if you're a traveling Jag fan guy.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, Vegas is very exciting. They just were there, but it was like 2 days before Christmas.
Correct.
Because we were thinking of going last year.
Except
and then
for
the schedule came out, and we saw that the Vegas game was going to be like December, whatever it was, 22nd. We were like, well, we're not going to get on a plane 2 days before Christmas.
Correct.
And go to Vegas. But and I'm sure a lot of fans did end up going. But, if you passed on the Vegas trip last year because of how its proximity to Christmas.
Right.
Well, my guess is the league's cognizant of when that game was played. So my guess is they're going to make an effort to put the Vegas game in the first probably 6 weeks of the season this time. So, so that's obviously a fun trip. It's a new stadium, basically. And, but you certainly can't go wrong. Phoenix is beautiful.
People that haven't been to Sedona, people that haven't done that trip, you've been. It's gorgeous. Vegas is fun. San Francisco is one of the great cities in America. Denver is a beautiful part of the country. You're in the Rocky Mountains that way, or certainly close to them. I would certainly think so. So there's a lot of fun trips if you want to take one. And by the time by 28 hours from now, you'll know when. And that part's kind of fun, so there's no question.
The best thing about the division, really, is that you get to go to Nashville every year.
Which is
that's
a great
become like
that's a great point.
Yeah,
that's a really good point.
Really big selling.
The team's the enemy, but the city is fantastic. One other thing about the schedule too is, and I think this does matter. This certainly matters to some players. It absolutely matters to. I'm just going to randomly suggest if you're a, I don't know, play-by-play guy who tends to get cold, because our booth's always open. By the way, there's no glass. You guys have the glass because y'all are sissies in the print media. We don't have any glass. Okay, we're open. So if you tend to be a cold-natured play-by-play guy, just randomly speaking, no cold games. The real only potential cold games, Cincinnati could be cold, Denver, but Denver's not a bad cold. Denver, you've been to Denver.
It's dry.
It's dry. It's not bad. It's a nice cold. And so, but I mean, there's no potential for New England, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Cleveland late in the year because there's none of those trips. So I'm a glasses half full guy, Carlyon. That's who I am. That's what you're dealing with here, okay?
Yeah.
So there's no cold games. We got an advantage in London. I'm thinking 15-2. Okay?
Well,
that's what I came. That's what
we'll be doing our predictions in a couple days.
15-2. That's what I've come up with. Let's take a break. I got some NBA thoughts. You've got one or two as we move along. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
Now, Studio Talk with Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
Did you just make a joke?
The Drill.
You did.
Mornings
Not a great joke, but you made a joke.
on 1010XL.
That constitutes a sense of humor. You do. You have one.
Looking for that designer engagement ring like Tacori or Verragio? Then hear this. The only locally owned authorized dealer here for these exquisite rings is Beard's Diamonds. Beard's is your destination for the top names in bridal design. Tacori, Verragio, Sylvie, Gabriel & Company, Gnome Carver, and more. If she's seen it on Pinterest or in a bridal magazine, Beard's has it. Exquisite, handcrafted, and made in America. So you can get her the ring of her dreams without having to go to one of those national mega chain jewelers. At Beard's, there's no big company rules, no Wall Street sales goals, no impersonal service. The non-commissioned experts at Beard's Diamonds will take their time and let you see dozens of ring styles from all the most sought-after designers. Beard's is proud to be Jacksonville's premier jeweler for nearly 45 years. We're committed to this area and promise an authentic, refined, and risk-free experience without markups, without pricing games, without corporate red tape getting in the way of making you happy. Beard's Diamonds, Jacksonville's diamond store, at the shops at St. John's Town Center.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Mayday, mayday, mayday.
Come in, Linda. Over.
We've got a sea of new vehicles and they're priced so low they're rocking the boat. Come check out our biggest selection of inventory with prices that don't break the bank and our wow ya experience that will ensure smooth sailing for your next car purchase. Plus, take advantage of our peace of mind warranties, transparent pricing to provide you with a peace of mind. You better beat the surge and head to the all-new Beaver Toyota or Chevrolet for the car buying experience you deserve.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
It's Work Zone Awareness Week, Florida. Every year, lives are lost in work zones because of speeding and distractions. When you see orange cones, remember, slow down, follow the signs, and stay focused. Workers are counting on you to get home safely, and so are their families. Let's work together to prevent crashes and save lives. A safety reminder from the Florida Department of Transportation. Slow your roll. Safety's the goal.
Hey, Jacksonville
Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Take your shot at the PGA Championship with 1010XL's You Pick'em contest.
All right, boys, let's go do this.
Win $1,000 of jewelry from Beard's Diamonds.
Whoa.
Opened up by Pella Windows and Doors. Enter at 1010XL.com.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Chelsea here from Renewal by Anderson. Before you invite family and friends over for summer fun, treat yourself and your home to new windows and doors from Renewal by Anderson. Renewal by Anderson has a great deal to get you started. We're excited to offer our Window of Opportunity Savings Event. Buy 2 windows or patio doors and get the third 60% off. Plus 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. Restrictions apply. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation today. License number CGC 1527613.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
Pizza to Tea here, and Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find the scratch kitchen that comes through in the clutch every day, from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar. Come on, somebody.
With the first pick in the 2025 draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Duck Duck Rooter, the #1 plumbing, septic, and air conditioning contractor in Florida.
Congratulations, Duck Duck Rooter. So tell us, how does it feel to be picked #1?
Duck Duck Rooter is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When you need help with any plumbing, septic, or AC issue, just give us a call and relax. We'll send one of our first-round draft picks to tackle your problems today. DuckDuckRooter.com. That's DuckDuckRooter.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, Hammer Time with Hays. Driven by Southside Kia. Online at SouthsideKiaJacks.com.
The NFL needs to adopt a lottery. And I've been saying this for years and will continue to do so. No, it doesn't have to look like the NBA draft lottery. In fact, it shouldn't. Way too many teams are eligible. My plan for an NFL draft lottery would be to have 6 teams that can possibly be eligible, 1 through 6. So this season, that would have been Tennessee, Cleveland, the New York Giants, New England, Jacksonville, and Las Vegas. That's it. Those are the only 6 teams that can win the lottery. And I would just structure the percentages to where if you finish with the worst record, you have a 40% chance of winning the lottery. So it's not a lock. It's not the 100% that obviously exists now. But obviously it's a very healthy chance, much more so than what the NBA does, where I think it's like 14% for the teams that finished in the top 4. And then just going down the line, you would reduce the percentages as it goes. The second pick, 20%. The team that finished with the third worst record, 15%. 10 and then 5, and there's your 6 teams. So what that gives you is it gives you 6 markets that are living and dying with this television production, which is going to bring in millions in revenue for the league. Why the owners haven't done this before astonishes me in an age where if they can get one more dollar, they do it. But imagine the TV production, an hour-long show. You can go through the 6 teams, and at the very last segment, you do the lottery. And I would do it Saturday night of the NFL Combine. So as the Combine is wrapping up, I would have the lottery that night. And I think it would be a TV extravaganza. I don't think it's too penal because, and I wouldn't do any of this. If you don't win the lottery, you can fall back. If you're the team with the worst record and you don't win the lottery with your 40% chance, you're picking second. Like, so I wouldn't have where like poor Utah and ends up with the 5th pick or whatever. But have it Saturday night of the combine week, only have 6 teams involved. I think it would be incredible. I think it would cut down on the NFL isn't awful about tanking, but we have seen instances of it. I think it would reduce that. But more than anything else, I think it would just be an unbelievable night of television for NFL fans.
It'll be certainly interesting, no question about that. People will be locked in like they are to everything NFL, and they would be to that as well. So, all right, so let's talk a little NBA. Before I talk NBA, I'm going to talk NBA mock draft. Do you know why?
Because Walter Clayton Jr. might be in that mock draft.
Well, yeah, that too. Walter Clayton Jr. I looked at 5 of them. Okay, I looked at ESPN's, USA Today's, CBS, The Athletic, and On3. I was doing research, Carl. I don't know what you were doing last night.
Impressive.
I'm always working.
Yeah,
to steal my friend Rick Blue's line. I'm always working. Okay,
I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy this.
Well, you're gonna enjoy what I'm getting ready to tell you, because none of the 5 had Alex Condon in the first round. Okay, that's why I did it.
Right.
I'd like to say I want to know which guys are.
Right.
I'm scrolling.
Is there
going to
be a 19 Alex Condon in one of these?
I kept looking. I said, Condon was all 5. Not one of them have him in the first. Oh, I was dancing around my living room when I found that out. ESPN's has him as the first pick in the second round.
Right.
But nobody else has him. A lot of them have him in the 40s.
Really?
Yeah. Now, some didn't have him at all, which meant they're assuming he's going back to school. He's pulling out. So I got to believe that. But
yeah, because you would think he'd get drafted.
Yeah,
although I will say, like, there's some stars, like Janai Broom,
and he's
like a middle second round pick.
He was not a first rounder in any of them. I think one of the 5 had him in the 20s.
Oh, really?
But most of them had him in the middle of the second round. But there's also a ton of big guys who can shoot it. Whether they're foreign guys or 7-foot guys, 7'1" guys, the Wolf guy from Michigan, the guy from is it Creighton? I mean they have so many guys. So it was glorious to see him. I hate to say that's why I looked, but it's why I went up and down the whole thing. So he's not in anybody's first round, which I thought was awesome. What surprised me, a few things. Number one, Walter Clayton was as high as 18 once, but mostly was between 25 and 30.
Okay.
That surprised me. And a lot of people have the Magic taking him with their second pick, which is at 25. Mm-hmm. But some people had Washington taking him at 26, but mostly 25. Did that surprise? I don't know why I thought he was creeping up into, maybe not into the lottery.
I think I saw one where maybe he was like 14 or 15.
Yeah,
Too old for the lottery in the NBA.
Okay.
They just don't play that.
Oh, well, there you go.
Like, if you look at the top 15,
good call.
I think only one is not a freshman.
Yeah.
And he's a sophomore.
How about that? So you know what? You have a good eye for that. I wouldn't have even thought. I wouldn't. The light didn't even go on.
The other thing I would say in terms of why it must be a really good draft, that Maryland kid Prince, who I think is sensational,
or Queen.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you. He's not. He's like in all the ones that I saw, like going 11 or 12.
He went between 9th and 12th on everyone. Here's what I saw, and let me tell you what else too. By the way, this jumped off the page for me too. Having those guys doesn't help you in college. All right.
No, look at Rutgers.
Yeah, 2 of the top 3.
2 of the top. Rutgers, according to all the mocks, Rutgers had the second guy and the third guy, and they were no impact. Okay, the Texas guard was 5th everywhere. They beat nobody in the SEC. The Oklahoma guard was 6th in every one of these. They beat nobody in the SEC. Duke had 3 of the top 8. They didn't make the final game. So, I mean, that's what really jumped off the page to me. Is it's great if you get one of these McDonald's guys that's going second or third in the draft. It's great that you get to say you had him, but you're not doing much. You want to win that. You want to win that damn national championship. Give me some of those 22 and 23s. That's 22-year-olds and 23-year-olds. Hays, it's never been more clear. It's never been more clear that the 22-year-olds and 23-year-olds are what you need to win a college. Now, look, Duke was 1 game away from being in the title. I know Duke was a special team with 3 really, really good players. I know that. But the point is, by and large, those 22 and 23-year-olds are going to Final Fours. And Rutgers had 2 of the top 3 in the lottery. And they didn't beat anybody. Isn't it amazing that it works that way?
It is, and just look at Calipari's Kentucky run. That decade-long stretch. since they won the title with Anthony Davis. If you look at the talent that went through Lexington that's now in the NBA, and I'm talking in the years after that national championship. So the players that went through Kentucky, if you put that team together today, the third team would be, I think, a very competitive NBA
Correct.
team.
Agreed.
And so it just shows you. I mean, and it's why Calipari was like, I got to get out of here. And I think it's why Mark Pope came in and said, we're going to do it with more veteran guys, and it's going to be a different roster construction than the one and dones. And it's played out that way. I mean, I don't know that you can point to a national champion in the last 5 to 10 years in college basketball that was led by one and done freshman phenoms. It just hasn't happened. You need older guys, transfer guys. I mean, that's just how the sport is become. I remember when Baylor won the national title maybe 4 or 5 years ago, there was a lot of, at the time we talked a lot about it, about how their roster was comprised of almost all transfers. And we just were astounded by it. Now it's par for the course. I mean, that's how you build a championship team is you need some homegrown guys, sure. But for the most part, you've got to go pluck those big time players at smaller conferences and hope that when they get to your level, they can, elevate their game even further. And I mean, it's crazy that's how much the sport has changed in a decade, but it clearly has. And it'll be interesting to see with Shire at Duke if he continues the approach of, I'm going to go get 3 or 4 of the most talented freshmen in the country, and that's how we're going to try and win the title, or if he even starts to pivot a little bit,
get some older guys
and get a couple older guys in there that that can bring some savvy to the team.
In almost every mock, and JJ, you follow it closely, so you know it. So all 3 Duke guys are in everybody's top 8. Okay, everybody knows that. The two Rutgers guys, Dylan Harper, the swing guard, and Ace Bailey, the kind of the shooting guard, small forward guy, they're 2 and 3 in every mock. They're the second. I mean, every mock they're the same. The Baylor guy, Edgecombe, he's 4th in just about every mock. I mean, there wasn't much variance. The Oklahoma guy, Fears, and the Texas guy, Johnson, they kind of went back and forth, but they were 5th and 6th in almost every mock. So I just gave you the top 8. Other than Duke, none of those teams were particularly good. I mean, none of them were.
No.
The 8th guy, the 9th guy in the ESPN draft, Colin Murray Boyles from South Carolina. South Carolina was the worst team in the SEC.
Right.
I mean, think about that for a second.
Yeah.
The worst team in the conference.
And as you pointed out, Oklahoma was a 9 seed and lost in their opening game. Texas was in the playing game.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean,
so
they
there's no
basically
value.
had no. Yeah, they not only were they not a factor in the tournament, they weren't expected to be. I mean, they weren't seeded to be a factor in the tournament.
So that goes to that proves that. Illinois had 2 top 20 picks, the 10th pick and the 18th pick in most of these mocks. They didn't get very deep.
I mean, Georgia, Mike White has a player that's going in the late first round.
And Ace Newell.
Yeah, and obviously, I mean, they made the tournament, and then some school beat them by 40. What was that? Who would they play? Gonzaga?
Gonzaga, I think it was.
Oh my gosh! So that was like we were following it. It was what 38-6 at one point.
But I see Michigan State guy, Arizona guy, and they all did well in the tournament. But the fact of the matter is, when you go through the mock drafts. There's very few these young guys, and again, I don't think it's ever been that dramatic. Even when they first, all the way back to the Fab Five, with 5 true freshmen, almost won the national title. Now they were special freshmen; they're all NBA players, or most of them were. But so reading through that, it's very interesting. The other thing is, and look, I don't follow the league close. I don't pretend to, and this is my clear orange and blue blood screaming out of my body as I say this, and I'll admit to it. But if there's 25 better basketball players than Walter Clayton Jr., now maybe better, and JJ, what I read about him is, here's all the knocks. He's only 6'2". They list him 6'3". He's 6'2" barefoot when they measured him. Doesn't defend. doesn't defend, doesn't handle at the NBA level, right? And JJ, you follow this closely, right?
Was he not defending when Houston didn't get a shot off in the national championship finale?
So let me ask you, JJ. I mean, you watch the NBA, you follow these mock drafts, knowing the league as well as you know it.
If you can shoot, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, are you surprised he's that low?
No, because he's older, and if you can't dribble and you're a guard, the league is really hard place.
Yeah, because they really defend. I thought about that too. And I hear you. He dribbled fine when I watched, but
I don't know anything about it. I'm just saying by what you just said right there might be why. But I mean, dude, look at people like Draymond. Like, you can be drafted late in the first round, second round, and become a superstar.
But in the NBA, I do know this. Yeah, they defend. But because of the way the league is played now, there's tons of open threes in that league.
Yeah. So much space.
They're correct. There are so many open threes in that league.
Everyone's looking for a shooter.
Always. Always. That's right. So,
I mean, really, shame on the Magic if they pass on Walter Clayton.
Because they need shooting more than almost any team.
They're the worst.
And he'll sell tickets.
Shooting team. Yeah,
he's from Orlando, practically.
Right.
And so, but I'm just telling you, again, I have to preface this with I don't follow the NBA close. I have recency bias. I have Gator bias. I have every reason to be biased and prejudiced and very subjective in this opinion. And so I'm trying to preface it with every possible disclaimer I can. But I can't imagine that son of a gun's not going to drop bomb after bomb after bomb in the NBA. I just saw a video. Did you see this video of him today? The camp.
It's like 20 of 22 from 3 or something.
And they're making him run to all different spots on the court. It's not like he's just standing in one spot. And he's switching all of them. I can't imagine that. And he's become like my favorite Gator basketball player of all time. So I'm so biased in this. But have I lost my mind to think he's going to be a really good, productive shooter in the NBA?
No, because I think when a player can prove that there is clutch, as Walter Clayton Jr. was for the Gators, time and time again, that is going to translate to the NBA level. Now, will he be a superstar? That I don't know. But will Walter Clayton Jr. be somebody that when his team needs him to hit a three, will hit the three? No doubt about it.
Yeah, and I can tell you, look, I appreciate Elijah Martin's toughness. He brought toughness. I appreciate the fact that Will Richard had some games where he was in fuego. He had a handful of games. I appreciate the fact that their bigs were long and ran the court. I appreciate a lot about them. I appreciate Todd Golden's analytics or whatever it is. They won the national championship because they had Walter Clayton Jr. They're not even a Final Four team without him.
They're not even a Sweet 16 team without Walter Clayton Jr.
So
UConn would have beaten them.
Right, correct. So he carried a team to the national. It was Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker carried UConn to a national title. I couldn't even tell you who else was on that team. Not just because they weren't pro guys. I can't even remember any of the other college guys. And Kemba Walker single-handedly carried a team to a national championship, and Clayton did that. So the fact that I don't follow. I expected to see him 14th, 18th, 16th.
If I was Orlando, I would take him with their first round pick because I think they're 14 and 25, something like that.
16, I think is their first.
16.
Yeah,
I would take him right there.
Yeah, I
don't know why you'd hope that he's still on the board at 25. If your biggest Achilles heel as a franchise is that you cannot make a three-pointer.
One of the mocks I saw, they took Will Riley, one of the Illinois guys, at 16. He's a 6'7.5" kind of swing man that's got that NBA look to him. Okay, and Clayton at 25. All right. Well, because a lot of my buddies are Illinois fans, I hang out with a lot of I go watch the football games with them. I would watch Illinois some. There's no way he's as good a player as Walter Clayton Jr. And again, the NBA, yes, the NBA scouts are smarter. They know their league better than I do. But he goes higher than him in every one, and this one had the Magic taking both of them. But to your point, Riley first, I just can't imagine that. But we'll see. It's going to be fun because we know players in it. And let me reiterate one more time. Alex Condon in nobody's first round. That's why I look.
The other thing, too, and again, I don't watch any of the NBA during the regular season, so I've just started watching it in the last couple of weeks. But I am amazed at how many open threes these teams miss.
These are
the good teams.
Well, and by the way, and to your
wide open threes.
Well, and to your point, how many they have. Yes. You can't miss an open three unless you have an open three.
Right.
And JJ, that's what surprised me is how many open threes they take. Yeah, I mean, there has to.
Yeah, if there's a 3-on-2, they're taking a 3.
Absolutely.
Like anytime you're getting a rebound and you have numbers the other way, you're not looking for that take it to the rim anymore. Like they're looking for that open 3 in the corner.
Yeah,
because it's the shortest shot. And like I said, if you're Clayton and you can drill that shot off the bench in the NBA, man, you're going to be in the NBA for a long ass time.
And and boy, just to me, I know they say, that college football and pro football have never looked more similar because they're all spreading the field and RPO, but college basketball and the NBA are not.
Oh, they're completely different.
Completely different. I mean, in college basketball still throws the ball inside to a guy with his back to the basket.
There's post-ups.
Yeah, there's post-up. No one's covered.
I haven't seen a post-up in 5 years.
Nobody posts up in the NBA. I mean, in college basketball, you throw the ball into Janai Broome, you can't cover him. The 6'6", nobody could cover the Texas Tech guy, and he was 6'6". He almost beat Florida by he beat one team by him. So who'd they come back and beat? But he beat
St. John.
Yeah,
no. Arkansas.
Right, by himself.
Right.
And he almost came back and beat Florida by himself.
And he would have if he hadn't just run out of gas.
Right. They threw it into he's back to the basket. He posts up. Nobody in the NBA does that. I mean, there's not a post up in the league, and so they've never been more different.
If Yao Ming was in the draft today, he'd be a mid-second round pick.
Yeah, playing 2 guard. He'd be a 7'5" 2 guard. We'll take a break. When we come back, I want to talk ACC football, among other things. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
There's something special about radio play-by-play. Always has been. In Jacksonville, your place for play-by-play is 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here. Nimnick Chevrolet is proud to be an 8-time Chevrolet Dealer of the Year recipient, the only dealership in Northeast Florida to ever win this prestigious award. Earned by treating customers with courtesy, respect, and fairness, all part of Nimnick's Treating You Right guarantee. Visit NimnickChevy.com to learn more. For 3 generations, Nimnick has been the place customers keep coming back to. I've been buying my vehicles from Nimnick since 1982 because they care about their customers and are invested in our local community, including supporting walk-off charities, and all we're trying to do to help underprivileged kids learn to play baseball. Treating you right, giving back to the community, more choices and better prices for you. So who has put the most years and stands behind a better experience? The answer is simple. Nobody but Nimnick. Visit their showroom off Cassett Avenue or shop 24/7 at NimnickChevy.com. Head to Nimnick today. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Hi, it's Frank Frangie. You hear my buddies Dan and Jeff talk about that great food at Daly's Dash all the time. Jeff loves that Duval and Dan loves the Boss. And they're right, both are terrific. But I can tell you they have so many excellent options at Daly's Dash. Salads and flatbreads and tacos and quesadillas, you name it. And of course, those fantastic subs and sandwiches. I just had the Italian sub. It is so good. The thing is, Daly's Dash is really committed to their food and committed to making it perfect for you. Everything is fresh, made to order every time. And there's so many Daly's locations in town, no matter where you are, there's one near you. I love to pop in and grab a sub at lunch, or maybe after a round of golf, or maybe even after calling one of those Jags games. There's never a bad time to stop into Daly's Dash and grab that great, great food. So head there today. Take it from Dan and Jeff, or take it from me. They say it's nicer here. It really is. And the food is delicious. Head to Daly's Dash today.
You don't think this would be a good moment to text somebody?
There's never a bad moment to share your opinion on the 1010XL text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Share your opinion
As soon as possible.
at 641-1010.
Mike Dempsey, and now's the time to get your roof hurricane ready with Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacks Beach. Look, our rainy season is no joke, and if your roof's got damage, leaks, or it's just plain worn out, don't wait. Apex is local, dependable, and will show up on time using only premium materials with ironclad warranties. No shortcuts, no stress, just quality work you can trust. Skip the storm season scramble. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacks Beach or visit apexroofingfl.com.
Summer in Jacksonville is coming in hot. Lauren Brooks here. Beat the heat with Turbo Tint. Their window tint blocks up to 99% of harmful UV rays and keeps your ride cool and comfortable. Book today at orangepark.turbotint.com.
Frank Frangie here. I was talking to a buddy the other day. His HOA told him his old fence had to go. I said, man, call Coil Fencing. They've been around the block since 1927. Heck, they probably built half the fences in Jacksonville. They do it all. Tough chain link for security. Those fancy aluminum ones the HOA actually likes. Nearly a century of keeping yards safe and looking good. If you need a fence, call Coil. You can trust the folks at Coil. 904-356-4821 or visit coiljacks.com, COYLE, jacks.com.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. The coolest cats in town. Setting the standard in our hometown. Quality service, the best around. Coolidge is the cat that cares about your heating and about your air. Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. The coolest cats in town.
When it comes to towing products, your safety is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 15th.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700, offices Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
Neck pain, back pain, or headache, Shinatri Chiropractic has 4 locations: Westside, 103rd, Riverside, Arlington, and the Beaches. Acupuncture, dry needling, physical therapy. Relief starts today. Shinatri Chiropractic, 743-6700.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update, brought to you by Tucker Equipment Rentals. After starting the series down 0-2 to the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Florida Panthers have played 2 great games in front of their home crowd to even the series at 2 games apiece. On Sunday night, the Panthers shut out the Leafs 2-0 and are now experiencing their second day off in a row. On that, Panthers coach Paul Maurice talked about how 2 days off between games in a series affects the teams.
I've liked the 2-day blocks off in series. I think it's fair. Toronto gets to capture the same kind of rest that we do because they get to go home. So I think it's fair for both teams. I think they both get the exact same bump. They fly today, we fly tomorrow. I think it's good. I think it's good for the quality of hockey. I think we're going to get the energy level will amp as this goes.
Game 2 will be tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. It's 84 degrees at 5:04. Time and Temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnicht Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnicht, your friends in the car business since 1941.
You know, May is Military Appreciation Month, and man, they're proud of the brave men and women who serve at Nimnicht. I can promise you that. At Nimnicht Chevrolet, an additional $750 off all new Chevrolets. Every vehicle that is purchased at Nimnicht, both locations, supports K9s for Warriors. So they're celebrating Military Appreciation Month at both Nimnicht Chevrolet and Nimnicht Buick GMC. So head by there today. And again, thank you for your service. I think that. Many of us think that. And I promise you, they think that at the Nimnicht family of dealerships. Frangie and Carlyon with you, along with JJ LaSelva. Glad you're with us on this Tuesday. The ACC had its meetings here at Amelia. I love they always have it here. And again, our guys do a great job. The Primetime boys getting up there, having terrific interviews. We appreciate their work. And Both Joe and Matt have great connections up there. Leon, of course, played in Miami, so a great connection. They do a wonderful job up there. We appreciate their work each year that thing comes to our area. But let's talk about the ACC. I don't know what's next for the ACC as a football conference. Basketball, they weren't good this year, but they'll bounce back. It's a basketball league, and it'll be a basketball league. Baseball, they're very good. They're almost on par with the SEC. I think last year in Omaha, half the field or more was either SEC or ACC teams. They're good at a lot of other sports. It's a great academic conference. Obviously, Stanford and Cal make it even better, but Georgia Tech and North Carolina and Virginia, they're magnificent academic institutions. Nobody would debate that. But I wonder as a football league what it is. We've always the SEC people have always kidded the ACC about not being a good football league. But I got to tell you, with FSU down, and if they stay down, we'll see if they do, with Clemson clawing its way to get back up, and they've been in most way too early top 10, so maybe they'll be there. But other than that, all these years later, I don't know that much is there. We keep waiting for Miami to come back, and we keep thinking they're going to. And in the early part of last year, it looked like maybe this was the year Miami was storming back because they had that great offense, but defense kept that really from happening. And Miami has had very few 10-win seasons in recent years, so Miami certainly isn't it yet anyway. I don't know what to make of the conference, so much so that FSU and Clemson tried to leave. They couldn't leave in large part because it was going to cost too much. Bigger story that nobody's telling, but what we all kind of know is that nobody wanted them, at least none of the big conferences. So as I look at this league, what's the marquee value? Bill Belichick's there. And when you first heard Bill Belichick was there, it sounded like he brought great marquee value to the league. But now it's almost an embarrassing thing. The fact that he got snubbed by the NFLs, the Sunday morning thing to promote his book was a disaster. So I don't know that he brings the marquee value that I thought he would have even a month ago. FSU could come back, but it would take a major reversal of fortune. I think they'll be back at time. I've always believed that. But I mean, for this year, I think Clemson will be good. I think Cade Klubnik's going to be one of the better, more known quarterbacks in the country. But he's not great. He's okay. I don't know what else is even in the league. I don't know. I think SMU's in the league last I checked. I'm trying to keep up. They are.
They won the most games in the ACC last year with 11.
And they're SMU and Boston College and Pitt and Syracuse and Virginia Tech once upon a time. And I don't know that it's better than I don't know that it's better than the Big 12. I don't know that I think it is. I don't know. And listen, they're trying. Jim Phillips he's trying his best. No one's trying to get. I just don't know that I almost feel like that league was better in the 90s because it had fewer teams and FSU was so damn good. And then you get to the early 2000s and Miami had that resurrection when they were incredibly good. You know,
but that wasn't in the ACC.
They weren't in 01?
They've never won the ACC.
Oh, I didn't realize
Miami was in the ACC, I think, probably like 2005.
Yeah, good point. My bad. Very good point. They weren't. But the point is, even in the 90s, the league wasn't great, but FSU was so good that they held that banner so high. And I just don't know that there's anything left in the league. It's a really tough time for the football league. What do you think?
I think it is a difficult time for the ACC because I think their elite teams are just like Clemson. I think Miami has a chance to be elite. They got a big time commitment today from the nation's top offensive lineman. So I think Mario Cristobal is doing a good job of building the roster there, and we know they've got NIL to work with. So
yeah, if Miami came back, nobody would be surprised. I agree with you.
Yeah,
that's the one school that could blow up, but nobody would be shocked.
But in looking at the current climate of like the teams that you would say are their best bets to be elite, which would be like Clemson, I'd say Miami, SMU, we're going to need to see it for more than 1 year. And then everybody else, Syracuse won 10 games last year, but I mean, I think you need to see it. The problem is, I think the middle class of the ACC is actually better than maybe what people think. So what lends itself to happening is you get your you get 2 or 3 of your, quote, elite teams, but they could still lose to a Georgia Tech, a Louisville. Duke wasn't bad last year. And my guess is, like, between the Virginia Techs, the Boston College, who they'll be coached well with Bill O'Brien, Pitt, certainly Belichick at North Carolina, NC State occasionally does something. It feels like it'll be one of those leagues where your couple of elite teams will probably take on an upset that's going to really cost you in terms of playoff seeding and the at-large berth. The other thing too is it just feels to me like it's almost too good in the middle, but doesn't get enough credit, and so. Like Louisville wins 9 games last year. I don't think anybody really cared, but I think they've got a chance to continue that.
They have a great coach.
Yeah, great coach. And maybe that's the point. Is I like the coaches that are in this conference, and so I think they're in a tough spot in terms of contending for the national title, because I'm not sure it prepares you week in and week out like you need to be, like the Big Ten and SEC is going to do for its elite clubs. So there's that, but it's also not a path of total cupcakes. So you could get upset by a team and it's probably not going to be a ranked team. So then you have to deal with, it's a bad loss. Well, I mean, so I just think they're in a tough spot. I don't think it's a dreadful conference. I just think that there aren't enough elite teams, and their middle class is probably better than what it's given credit for. So when the middle class does beat one of the upper class teams, the upper class team really takes a reputational hit that teams in the SEC and Big Ten do not take.
Yeah, and that's probably and by the way, what you just described has been the case kind of forever. That's not a new thing. I just don't know. I mean, let's go by some teams here, okay? Let's. I'm pulling up a.
The other thing I would say with this conference being so huge now, the unbalanced schedule will lead to a mediocre team going 7-1.
Well, that was play. SMU.
Right.
SMU didn't have to play Miami or Clemson, and I think Louisville was the hardest.
And they went 8-0 in league play. So I think that's the other danger with this conference being so big, is that some of these non-traditional teams. Obviously, Miami, FSU, Clemson, they're always going to have, some elite teams in there. But the teams that aren't elite, if they get the right schedule and you're playing, 5 of the 8 teams on your schedule are against the worst teams in this league, the lower class in the ACC is a disaster. And so I think that also makes it tough because it can skew things because there's just too many teams in this league.
In the last year of a 12-team playoff, we all know now it's probably headed to 16. And by the way, I've been saying 16 all along. People were saying 14. Well, now the conventional thinking is it's going to be 16 by next year, which is what it should have been all along. No buys, 16 teams, go play. One plays 16, and you move on. And 2-15, the whole bit. But in this last year of a 12-team playoff, if I asked you to bet how many ACC teams would make this year's field, what would you tell me?
I'd say 2.
JJ, what would you say?
How many with last year's record?
No. Just going into this season.
Okay.
I mean, the champions getting in.
Yeah. They're
so
on
then it's
I'll
basically
say 2. Yeah. And listen, when they go to the 16 and there's at least 2 automatics every single year, the ACC is going to be fine.
Yeah. Well, and that's
like as
true.
long as they have 2 locked in seeds.
Yeah.
The teams at the top are going to be pretty content with staying in the ACC.
Yeah, I will say this. By the way, I think I would almost say 1 this year. I would almost say 1. Yeah. And you're right, though. There's 1 automatic.
I think Clemson's going to be good.
I do, too. And I think that'll be the 1. And so,
and don't you think Florida State has so much to do with this? If Florida State's not going to be down forever.
Well, that's right. And
there's no way.
And I agree with that. I think Florida State will be whether it's under Mike Norvell and he has another great portal run, or whether they fire him and bring in the next guy. I agree with you. Florida State's football team is going to be good. There's no denying that. That part I will give you. But as I look, when you get to 16, let's say they get to 16 and 26. and let's say there's no automatic seeds. There's four automatic qualifiers. Or I'm sorry, there's the 4 of the SEC, the 4 of Big Ten, however they do it.
Like the conference champions.
Yeah. So there's but if there's no seeds, if the seeds are all based on,
if it's just 1 through 16, these are the 16 best teams.
Yeah,
right.
I would think there might be. What's the vision? 4, 4, 2, 4.
Well, the SEC and Big Ten each want 4.
Right.
Let's say 4, 2 for the Big 12, 2 for the ACC, and then 1 for the best group of 6.
And then there's like 3. Yeah.
All right. So let's say it's 4, 4, 2, 2. Okay, that's 12. All right, and then 13, and then 3. Let's say it plays out that way. So the ACC is guaranteed 2, and probably by the time you get to 16, there's a chance a third will get in. All right. But the seedings, bro, you could be looking at Clemson 7, FSU 12, SMU 16. That and I don't know that it's going to happen that way. That's what it feels like to me today. It could change tomorrow. It's just a very odd. If you look at everything that happened with that league, the fact that FSU and Clemson tried so hard to get out, and then you heard there's 7 teams that wanted to get out, and then they weren't able to get out. And then you look up and they're bringing in teams from the West Coast that are in that league, and California's having to travel to Tallahassee to play
Certainly
volleyball.
Certainly the weirdest conference.
It's just a strange time and weird setting in the ACC. We'll see what happens. Let's take a break. Hays has headlines on the other side. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
The race is on.
They're side by side.
It's NASCAR's All-Star Race at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Sunday night. Brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234. From the station with the most horsepower, 1010XL.
This is Hays Carlyon from my friend Holt at Harold and Harold. There doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to get everything done. Then you get injured in an accident and you don't know what you're going to do. Let Harold and Harold make it easy for you. Easy on becoming a client. You can just text or email if you want. Easy on finding a doctor and getting through the process. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold and Harold and make it easy on yourself. Call them at 904-251-1111. That's 251-1111.
Lauren Brooks here. At Hodges Mazda, they are proud of their solid reputation in the Jacksonville community. As your hometown Mazda dealer, their high customer service standards and their huge inventory of new and used cars provide their customers a consistently first-rate car buying experience. Their professional non-commissioned sales team puts your best interest first without exception. And all new vehicle purchases include the Hodges Mazda Protection Package. Visit them online at HodgesMazda.com or stop in today to learn more and discover the Hodges Mazda difference.
Enhance your home with Renewal by Anderson's superior craftsmanship and timeless design. Right now, buy 2 windows or patio doors and get the third at 60% off. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. This offer expires May 31st. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Get this. Joey and me were supposed to go to this concert next week, right? But then something terrible happened. Joey was driving without a seatbelt. But he didn't wreck. No, he got pulled over. Now Joey has to pay for a seatbelt ticket instead of a concert ticket, and I have to go by myself. How lame is that? So Joey, if you're out there, you're an idiot. Wear your seatbelt or you'll get a ticket.
All across the country, cops are cracking down. Click it or ticket, day and night.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation.
As a contractor, finding reliable subcontractors is key to project success. Prosser here. Guys, that's where Lloyd's Heating and Air shines. Not just your mechanical HVAC experts, but your partner, understanding every facet of construction to keep your project on track. Lloyd's will spot issues early before they cause delays. If you're a contractor with a need for reliability, visit LloydsHeatingandAir.com. Lloyd's Heating and Air. keeping you comfortable in every season.
The best teal-colored coverage includes Mia's Quick Hits.
Get the latest news from inside the building and around the league. I'm Mia O'Brien, 1010XL's NFL Insider.
Driven by Arlington Toyota. Available on the video and social channels of 1010XL.
Hey, it's Matt Hays here with a challenge. A challenge might not be the best choice in words, so let's say an opportunity. Take the opportunity to lose 40 by the fourth with a Wake and 180. It sounds a little different when you put a real goal to it, doesn't it? Maybe you looked at the scale this morning and it read 230 pounds. How about it reading 190 by the fourth? Maybe the scale says 300. Wouldn't the number 260 be a little nicer on your eyes and on your joints? It's attainable if you have the same results we all had with a Wake and 180. I dropped 40 pounds in 9 weeks. Hacker dropped his first 40 in just 6 weeks. Dempsey, Blue, and everyone else I know, same results. And we've kept it off. The best thing about a Wake and 180 weight loss, it will completely change the way you think, see, and feel about food. The results are real, attainable, and the process simple with a Wake and 180. Take the opportunity and drop 40 by the fourth. It all starts with just one call to a Wake and 180 weight loss. Call 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
The housing market is as busy as ever on the First Coast. And if you've moved in or moved on, make sure you have a team of trained electricians ready to help. American Electrical can make sure you're up to date electrically and maximize your living experience. Smart home automation services, home theater systems, outdoor and dock lighting, and backup generators. American Electrical can do it all. A team you can trust with highly trained technicians ensuring you have the best living experience. American-Electrical.com, a leader on the First Coast and powered by professionalism.
Are you struggling with hair loss? At IHRS, we understand because we've been there too. We're dedicated to finding the best solution tailored just for you.
My hair looks great. It was thinning, and IHRS restored my hair.
It's now fuller, it's thicker, voluminous. It's made me feel great.
With the latest technology and FDA-approved laser therapy, PRP, and non-surgical hair addition, we offer guaranteed solutions for men and women.
With over 35 years of experience, IHRS found a hair restoration for us, and we can find one for you.
For me.
For me.
And me too.
Visit hairforme.com or call 904-777-IHRS. Get a free microscopic analysis and get to the root of your problem. This $395 analysis is yours for free. Call 904-777-4477 now.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
All right, welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie, JJ LaSelva, I'm Hays Carlyon. Thank you to our friends at Harrell & Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, we're going to start it with the Jaguars because we now know who they will be facing at Wembley Stadium. It will be Jaguars-Rams, Week 7, October 19th.
Yeah, we had this talk at the top of the program near it, Hays. It's my belief that the Jags benefit from the Wembley game. They are 7-6 in London, and that's a really good record when you consider overall the team over that stretch has not been a good football team. They've only had 2 winning seasons in that stretch. One was barely a winning season, yet they have a winning record in London. They've blasted the Ravens. They've beaten the Bills twice. They've beaten some named teams over there. They've beaten the Colts and the Falcons and the Dolphins over there. So, yeah, I think that's an advantage, and I think the Rams are going to be pretty good. So, yeah, I like it. I do.
Just one game in London for the Jaguars, but there is a franchise that will be playing 2 this season. I thought this was interesting. The Vikings will play 2 international games, but both as the road team. Minnesota will play Pittsburgh on September 28th in Dublin, followed by a game at London's Tottenham Stadium against Cleveland. So kind of an odd thing, but I guess if you're the Vikings, it's maybe you don't have to go to Pittsburgh and you don't have to go to Cleveland.
So the first game is actually a week earlier than the league starts, right? It's the September 28th game, and then they're going to be there for both games. So it's a really interesting trip. Now, London and Dublin are only about a 45-minute flight apart, but it's still, you're in 2 different major cities playing a game. It would be a very interesting trip for Minnesota Jacksonville knows all about back-to-back games in the British Isles, and so Minnesota will find out as well.
We talked about Trey Hendrickson yesterday, and the story developed even further this afternoon. The Cincinnati star defensive end unloaded on Bengals brass in a 25-minute session with reporters, saying he will not play until he receives an extension. The 30-year-old Orlando native has recorded 35 sacks in the last 2 seasons combined. Is it worth a call if you're James Gladstone?
Well, here's the problem. They've got no calls, or he'd be gone. They've got no calls, at least with any value. And I think the problem is he's not signing with anybody who doesn't extend him. And the word is he wants $25 million. And I don't think it's just the Bengals in this one. I don't think the league believes he's worth $25 million, which is why the James Gladstones of the world haven't made that call. I'll be honest, I snooped around on that one a little bit. And I think what you're going to find out is league-wide, he's a good guy. He's a good player. He plays hard, but he has overestimated his value. And that's why I've got to believe if there's another team with whom the Bengals, if there's another team that would give him what he wants, by now the Bengals would have gotten a third rounder or whatever for him. So I think the issue isn't the Bengals in this case. They're notoriously cheap. I think the issue is here. The Bengals are among many teams that don't think a 30-year-old pass rusher is worth that kind of money.
Interesting. Let's get it to college football. Florida State season opener at home against Alabama has a kickoff time and a network. ABC will televise the game starting at 3:30. That will be big.
Are you telling me Fowler and Herbie are going to be in the Capitol when Alabama comes off? When Lee Corso puts on that headgear one last time, and by the way,
you got to pick FSU.
You got to pick FSU. Yeah. You got to put it on. You got to put on the Seminole headgear. You got to be there, and you got to put it on. And it doesn't matter who wins or loses. Look, I'll hate to see Corso not there, but as for the football game, I'll say it again. FSU is the most interesting team, intriguing team, curious about team in the country, because I really have no idea what to expect. It's almost like an expansion team. It's almost like an expansion team in a year where the expansion draft allows you to draft a lot of really good players, because there's so many new guys, including their quarterback. Who knows what to expect?
It really will be an incredible mystery that will unravel this fall. What will be the FSU football team? But let's get it to golf as we get ready for the PGA Championship at Quail Hollow this week. So 1 year ago today, Rory McIlroy won the Wells Fargo Championship, which is a regular stop on the PGA Tour at Quail Hollow. He was 17 under. Rory beat 65 players by at least 10 shots and beat 35 guys by at least 20 shots. And now the Masters champion going back to Quail Hollow to try and get the second leg of the Grand Slam. And oh, by the way, he also won the Players' Championship.
Yeah, how's he done since? that was my question, was how's he done since that win at Quail Hollow? Look, I'll say this. He obviously, the horse for a course thing, he plays it very well there and has traditionally, not just last year. And he obviously is the hottest golfer in the country right now. I almost wonder if that's too much pressure. I mean, he's the only guy anyone's going to, I mean, just like that he's suddenly, Scheffler's not being talked about. He's Scotty Scheffler, who's still this great player, is not even being talked about anymore. So I really wonder how that will wind up affecting Rory McIlroy.
Let's get to the NBA. The Celtics lose Game 4 and Jason Tatum to an Achilles tear. That news came out in the last 30 minutes as the New York Knicks take a 3-1 lead with a 121-113 win. Jalen Brunson scored 39 points to lead New York, who basically has this one all wrapped up.
Yeah, this one, they've played with a grittiness, man. New York doesn't have a whole lot of players that non-basketball fans will know. You might know Jalen Brunson. He's their best player. But they don't know Malik Bridges. Some may know Karl Anthony Towns, but you get it. It's not a team full of household names, but they play hard and they play with a grit to them, and they're one game and one series away from the finals.
The Timberwolves pushed the Warriors to the brink with a 117-110 win. Minnesota exploded out of halftime, outscoring Golden State 39-17 in the third quarter. Julius Randle scored 31 points, while Anthony Edwards had 30 to lead the Timberwolves.
Yeah, you had a hunch when Steph went down. That was that. So it's the these two conference finals, Hays, are starting to take shape.
Without a doubt. We talked a little earlier about the lottery. The Mavericks win it, and likely Duke phenom Cooper Flagg. Was it fixed? Dallas had a 1.8% chance to win the lottery. It was the fourth lowest all time to win the lottery. But keep in mind, if this thing is fixed, there would be legitimate racketeering and fraud charges that potentially could be brought.
It's not fixed. If it was fixed, you're right. It'd be against the law, and it would take down the league. And by the way, if it was fixed, you'd find a way to get the good players to New York, Chicago, or L.A., not freaking Dallas.
And the company that does the lottery.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Would also be in trouble.
Yeah, no one's fixing anything.
2 games tonight. Indiana tries to close out Cleveland on the road, while Denver and Oklahoma City are tied at 2 heading into Game 5 tonight in OKC. What do you think happens?
That's a good series. It's hard not to take OKC, although the thing's back and forth. JJ made the point the other day that Nikola Jokic just didn't play very well. So it's hard not to take Oklahoma City. And I think Indiana closes them out. I mean, Donovan Mitchell's been limping around. What a postseason of upsets, which makes it kind of fun.
Michael Jordan will be joining NBC's NBA coverage as a special contributor when their coverage begins next fall. NBC hasn't aired the NBA since 2002. NBC is part of the NBA's new 11-year, $76 billion deal.
You want to know my response to that? That's all I got.
That's good. Yeah, absolutely. In the world of
how'd I do?
Good.
That was
I
good.
give you a 10 out of 10.
John Test be very proud of me right now.
That's right. Let's.
Go ahead.
Are you sure?
No, I'm good.
I'm enjoying it.
No, my apologies.
Major League Baseball, massive news in the sport of baseball, just released about an hour ago. Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson have had their lifetime bans lifted by Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred.
And I know we'll hear more and more stories about this, the why, what does it mean? I just don't understand why this couldn't have happened when you knew Pete Rose was in poor health and why he had to wait this long. And I hate it. I hate that it happened that way. I hate that it took this long. I really mean that. I did not feel happy when it happened today. I should, because Pete Rose is going to the Hall of Fame at some point now, and he should have been in all along. He had 4,256 hits. But I wish it would have happened when he was alive.
Yeah, me too. The Braves beat Washington last night to get to 20-21
Here
on
they
the
come.
season.
Here come the Braves.
Can they finally get to 500 tonight?
I hope, but I have to take you back to the 9th inning last night. So there's a guy on second and third, 2 outs. Braves are up 3-1. And they just totally boot a regular ball to the shortstop to tie the game. And they had to win it in the bottom of the 9th. But it was just like, wow, if they lose this. But, yeah, I think because it is the Nationals, they'll get to 500. But they're playing the Red Sox this weekend, and they'll go back under 500.
Pittsburgh ace Paul Skeens will pitch for the U.S. in the World Baseball Classic next year. He joins Aaron Judge thus far on what could be an incredibly loaded American team.
I love the fact that the good players are all going to be there. I love the World Baseball Classic. We had a blast. We were on one of our spring training trips doing shows from there, and we were sat there and watched it. I love the World Baseball Classic. Some people don't love it. I do. So I hope all the good players, Judge and Skeens, are a great start. By the way, Paul Skeens last night left with a 2-1 lead at Citi Field. What do you think the chances were they were going to win that game?
8%.
Tops. I got one for you, JJ. You know what April 22nd was, JJ?
No.
The last time the Pittsburgh Pirates scored more than 4 runs in a game.
4?
Wow.
April 22nd.
Oh, my God.
It is May 13th.
A week from a month.
We're almost a month from scoring more than 4 runs in a game.
And they play every day in baseball.
They play every day.
That's amazing.
So I got that for you.
Yeah,
and they took 2 or 3 from the Braves.
That's right.
Yes, they did.
In college baseball, we didn't get to this yesterday. The Gators took the series at number 1 Texas, winning Sunday's deciding game 4-1. Florida has won 5 straight SEC series. The Gators are 35-18 overall, 13-14 in SEC play after a 1-11 start in league play. Florida concludes regular season play this weekend with a 3-game series against visiting Alabama. The Crimson Tide are 15-12 in SEC play.
As I've told you, it's the Carlyon effect. You called it. It's really one of the most amazing turnarounds I've ever seen. They were 1-11 in the SEC. Obviously, you play 3-game sets. That's 12 games. That means they lost all 4 series. They've since won all 5 series, and they're 13-14. They are the hottest team in the country. They have won 2 out of 3 from Arkansas, who was ranked 4th. Texas was ranked 1st, and they went to Austin. Would have swept them if they didn't get rain on Saturday. Liam Peterson was stuffing it. They were up 2-0. They weren't touching him, but then an hour and a half rain delay, they couldn't bring him back, and they lost when their reliever went in there. They darn near swept Texas. They're the hottest team in the country. How would you like to be North Carolina, and you're one of the 8 national seeds, and you're 4th or 5th in the country, or Coastal Carolina, you're 7th in the country, and you find out these Gators are coming to your regional? How would you like to look up on Selection Sunday, which they have in baseball too, and you have this great season, and man, I mean, the season for the ages. People are coming out to Tar Heel Park or whatever the hell they call it, and all of a sudden you look up and you're watching the brackets, and you got everybody in the room. The TV cameras are there, and you find out here come the Gators. Can you imagine?
Not good.
Ask Oklahoma State how that felt last year.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you. Nobody wants to see these guys in their region.
No, it's like going fishing and Jaws shows up.
Yeah, it really is.
No
it
doubt
really
about
is.
it. We'll get you out on our musical note of the day. On this date, back in 1985, Dire Straits released its 5th studio album, Brothers in Arms. The album would sell over 9 million copies in the U.S. and 30 million worldwide, producing hits like Walk of Life and So Far Away. But this was the anthem that helped define the 1980s music scene and the MTV video push. This is Money for Nothing.
People in the music industry will tell you, they know it, but they will tell you among mainstream fans, Mark Knopfler is the most underappreciated megastar, underappreciated genius in music history. That's what the insiders will tell you.
I believe it.
And they're probably right. It's a great song, and he's a great act. Well done, as always.
Thank you.
Back to wrap the program after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Feature odds for the NBA championship. The Oklahoma City Thunder -105 to capture the Larry O'Brien Trophy. The Thunder, with the best team in the Western Conference, are the New York Knicks, who are now up 3-1 on the Boston Celtics, are +500 to win the title. Minnesota up 3-1 on Golden State, +550. The Indiana Pacers are +900. The Cleveland Cavaliers +1,000 to win the title. The Denver Nuggets +1,500. The Boston Celtics, who suffered a huge blow with the injury to Jason Tatum, +2,500 as they're down to the Knicks 3-1, and Golden State +15,000. They've been playing without an injured Steph Curry. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Attention business owners and property managers. Hurricane season is right around the corner. Is your property ready? Call the pros at Duck Duck Rooter for expert storm drain cleaning and hydrojetting. Our powerful VACCON truck clears the way so your drains flow freely when the rain hits. Call 904-862-6769 today to schedule your service and protect your property before the storms start rolling in. Duck Duck Rooter, your trusted name in storm drain maintenance. Visit us at duckduckrooter.com. We are a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie. If you have a sweet tooth like me, the sweetest desserts in town come from Spoonful Bakery. Spoonful is an online bakery. They deliver boxes of assorted desserts right to your home or office. They're so good, and they make for great gifts for friends or clients. And if you want custom orders, wedding cakes or birthday cakes, or catered desserts for an event, they are the best. Log on to spoonful-bakery.com or call them at 904-515-4984. That's Spoonful Bakery for the sweetest desserts in town.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Mayday, mayday, mayday.
Come in, Linda. Over.
We've got a sea of new vehicles and they're priced so low they're rocking the boat. Come check out our biggest selection of inventory with prices that don't break the bank and our wow ya experience that will ensure smooth sailing for your next car purchase. Plus, take advantage of our peace of mind warranties, transparent pricing to provide you with a peace of mind. You better beat the surge and head to the all-new Beaver Toyota or Chevrolet for the car buying experience you deserve.
Mike Dempsey here. Look, it's been 10 years that I've been vouching for my guys at Dandy Boots, and for a decade, I'm proud of my association with a local family business. They make a great product. I've made no secret that I was a customer long before Dandy ever came on board on 1010XL. But I'm thinking I'm due a little Dandy swag, maybe a little love. How about a Dandy t-shirt, a ball cap? So how about it, Thompson family? What do you got going on over there? In the meantime, I'm going to keep eating those delicious tuna salad sandwiches. So guys, keep helping me out and grab a Dandy sandwich today.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Who takes home the Wanamaker Trophy?
The defending champion says.
Hear updates and coverage of the PGA Championship. Driven by St. John's Middle School Athletic Association and TopDressing.com. Follow the leaders on 1010XL.
Hey Jacksonville, Lauren Brooks here. Summer heat is on the rise, but don't sweat it. Big Chief Tire has your back with $50 off all AC services. Whether your system needs a quick recharge or a full repair, their expert team will keep you cool and road ready all season long. With 5 locations across Jacksonville, trusted service is always nearby. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule your AC service. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rollin'.
Get ready. Welcome to Rockville is gearing up to take over the Daytona International Speedway from May 15th to 18th with Green Day, Sometimes I hear myself Korn, Shinedown, and Linkin Park. Plus Bad Omens, Incubus, Good Charlotte, Rob Zombie, Alice in Chains, Pierce the Veil, Marilyn Manson, 3 Days Grace, Sublime, Hailstorm, I Prevail, Three Doors Down, Jimmy Eat World, Motionless in White, Bush, Chevelle, Mudvayne, and so many more. Welcome to Rockville. North America's largest rock festival is finally here. May 15th to the 18th in Daytona Beach. 5 stages, 4 days, and over 150 bands. Select passes on sale now at welcometorockville.com.
Been in a car crash? I'm local attorney Rick Alexander, and I've made it our mission at the Alexander Law Practice to listen to you so I can fight for the best possible result for you. I've been practicing over 30 years, and our team focuses on guiding you through the entire process. And because fees and reimbursement costs come out at the end of the case, I will never ask you to come out of pocket. For a free review, call 904-400-6600 or log on to alexanderlawpractice.com, Jacksonville.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. With the weather starting to turn for the better, look ahead. Get that backyard ready for spring with a new screened-in enclosure. Maximize the space you have and make it great with Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. They truly are best in the business. If you have the space and the idea, give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are you ready to play this summer? At the First Coast YMCA, we're committed to being your home for health and wellness and a place for friendly competition with team sports for adults and for kids. Basketball, volleyball, pickleball, flag football, soccer. The Y has something for everyone at any age. Discover all the benefits of YMCA membership and find your fun this summer at the Y. Registration for team sports and summer camps is open now. Visit fcymca.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the Cool Down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
All right, where we've been today, we've talked about now knowing the international games. The Jags and the Rams on October 19th. Looking forward to that. We talked about the tough road games, the good and the bad of this season. By the way, one of our posters on X corrected me. I said no, not much chance for a super cold game this year because there's no Buffalo, New England, Pittsburgh, only maybe Cincinnati if it comes late. But he made a great point. That at Nashville game can be really cold.
That was the coldest game I've ever been at.
They're really, really cold. So that's a very good point.
I mean, that's freakish.
Yeah.
I don't think that's. I think what we experienced that year was like.
But I will say Nashville,
like record kind of cold for them.
Don't you get wind off the water there too?
But there's it's kind of close.
Cleveland was the worst for that.
Yeah,
I almost couldn't walk into the stadium one time.
Yeah, the 17 the game in 17 was the coldest game like ever. It felt like, but Nashville has some cold games, so that was a good point. We talked about that a little bit. We talked about Pete Rose going in to the Hall much too late for many of us. I think that's the way a lot of people feel. We talked about the NBA. The Knicks are rolling. The Celtics, Lakers, and Warriors are all out. What does that mean for the league? We talked a little bit about the Atlantic Coast Conference, the football conference that it is, and what is going to become of the Atlantic Coast Conference. All right. Tomorrow we'll do a show. We won't know the schedule, but we'll certainly be able to preview where it's headed. Maybe some leaks will come out during the day. We don't know or not, but certainly by Thursday's show, we'll be able to talk all about the schedule and who they play or when they play. We know when they play various teams. Is that an exciting day for you? It's exciting for me. I love schedule day. I love schedule day. Schedule day is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I always look forward to schedule day, and it's 8:00 tomorrow night. Is that what it is?
That's correct.
NFL Network. Did I see this right? That both NFL and ESPN are going to have it?
That would make sense since they do that with the draft and stuff.
I knew they did the draft. I didn't know they did the release the same, but I'll bet they do. So yeah,
it'll be exciting to see what the Jaguars digital team does with the schedule. I mean, they have set the bar so high.
They really have. They really have. And
but they always do a really creative
You know what's
job.
funny is some of the teams that spend the least amount of money to me are the funniest ones. I think it was Nashville.
Yeah, that
where
was
they just had people
one.
on the streets of Nashville try
good.
to say the team that was the logo. Yeah,
right. Yeah, that was good. But it was it will be fun. So, and again, by Thursday you'll know the schedule. By next week on Monday is the day we get to go out and see them all together. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
I'm certainly looking forward to that. So we'll get to see the whole team together. I mean, I can't wait to see 16 throw to 12. I mean, that's going to be kind of fun.
Yeah.
16
and
to 12.
by the way, there's Brian Thomas Jr. on the other side.
Oh, is he good? is he good too?
I mean, if you start thinking about what they could have.
Well, what if they're right about De'Ami Brown? I mean, I'm telling you, I can't say this enough. They think he's going to be really special. What if they're right?
I mean, then it's going to be if they can protect, it should be a very explosive passing game.
Yeah. So I will say this. If Bashul Tootin becomes an important part of their offense as a running back, and I know that Etienne and Tank Bigsby are good players, and it may not happen, but if that happens,
they were going to take a running back with the fifth pick.
You have
so Etienne and Bigsby are not at all. I think massive contenders to touch the ball 300 times.
Well, they're certainly not automatic, is what you're saying. So let's assume Tootin is a factor. Let's, for the sake of the conversation, and Brown, Hunter, and of course Brian Thomas Jr. are the receivers. What a remake! What a remake of a roster and a remake of an offensive attack. Because that's exactly what it'll be. It'll be that. So it'll be kind of fun to watch. All right, let's say hello to my man Hacker.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
You know, you walk in a lot with that CCA gear on, that Christchurch Academy gear.
Yeah.
Is Little Hack going to play for them? What's he? Is he a slot receiver? What are we guessing down the road for Little Hack?
I'm thinking fullback.
Maybe. Lower.
Maybe wedge buster on special teams.
Okay.
Something along those lines.
Okay.
A pulling offensive guard on the JV unit.
Hack will show up now in the CCA gear.
That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying? Do you get it? Does he get it free?
I support the cause.
Is it swag?
I think we get one of the shirts for free.
I think you show up and they say that's Hacker, give him free stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
As they should.
Well, they refer to Forrest as Little Hack there.
Well,
at least most of them do.
Don't we all?
A little bit.
Isn't that kind of what happens?
I didn't even know his name was Forrest.
A lot of people don't. Or that my name's Ryan, for that matter.
That's very good point. How you doing?
Good.
Everything good?
Yeah, good. Boy, just trying to recover from what was a horrible night for my sport last night.
Yeah.
With the draft lottery.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people that cover the NBA, and I'm going to actually have one of them on, a guy that I respect a lot, Trevor Lane of the NBA front office show tonight, that are literally throwing out the idea that there was some shenanigans afoot last night.
And I said this, you follow it way closer than I. There's no shenanigans. Like Hays said, the federal indictments that would come down if they really did cheat, I mean, it would
it's racketeering.
it would blow up the league.
It would. But, you go back to the Ewing thing. People still have questions about that 40 years after the fact. LeBron going to Cleveland.
and
Derrick Rose going to Chicago. I mean, there's been
a lot of coincidences.
A lot of coincidences,
But
right?
I think in this day and age, if everybody wants to break the story, it'd be hard to hide that.
Yeah, no, I agree. But when you have this at play,
I get it.
LeBron's retiring in a year. Los Angeles needs a superstar. Let's trade Luka in the middle of the night to give LA their superstar for when LeBron retires. And then 2 months later, a 1.8% chance of Dallas getting another generational type player and they land the number 1 pick. That's interesting, if nothing else.
Why would they explain this to me? If you're going to cheat for somebody, why Dallas? Who cares about Dallas?
Because Dallas gave LA Luka Doncic for basically nothing.
No, I know that, but I mean, why would you? If you were going to cheat, who gives a damn? Well, why would the league care about helping them?
No, that's a good point.
I mean, if it had been New York or Chicago or LA, I'm thinking, okay, why? Who cares about?
Well, the conspiracy is that they helped LA.
They helped LA. They helped the league by giving LA a star.
Because of that, they had to break them off.
And in return for helping LA, they got Cooper Flag.
The problem, and I agree with you, it is really odd, without a doubt. Really odd, very suspicious on the surface. The other thing that I think is interesting is why would the other owners agree to it? Like, they'd have to all be colluding together as a league for it to happen, to not have the risk of it ever becoming a crime. And I don't know why, if I'm the owner of the Utah Jazz, I would agree to this. You know what I mean?
No,
but,
right.
But
it
was I was amazed when I saw the Mavericks with a 1.8% chance won the lottery after making the worst trade in arguably the league's history.
And I just want to know why they can't air it on ESPN. Why it's done in a back room, right? Why the guy comes out from the security brokers union or whoever that guy is. He's the only guy that knows.
Well, you can stream it.
Right after the fact.
Because it's boring. They don't put it on
that's
TV.
That's
but
the
like,
reasoning.
You can watch it.
Yeah, the reasoning they say is because it's boring. And Trevor Lane goes into all this as to why they don't air it live. If you air it live, I don't care how boring it is, then all this talk goes away. And there's not the conspiracy theories.
Fair enough. Is Walter Clayton Jr. going to wind up with the Magic?
I hope so.
Well, that'd be great.
They have picks 16 and 25. I would take him at 16.
Yeah, that's what Hays said, too. I agree. Every mock I saw, a number of teams took him at 25. I saw one that had him at 16. But
the problem is Orlando's got somebody very comparable to him, and that's Cole Anthony.
Okay.
Greg Anthony's son,
Right.
played 1 year at North Carolina.
Right.
Now I think Walter Clayton's a little better, but Cole Anthony doesn't play a lick of defense. He can shoot a little bit,
Yeah.
and that's exactly who Walter Clayton's going to be in the league.
Walter Clayton doesn't play any defense. He can shoot a lot of it.
He can shoot a lot.
Yeah.
He can.
So what's coming up tonight?
Yeah, we're going to talk a little NBA. We mentioned, Trevor Lane. D-Rock, Mike DeRocco, ESPN.com is going to stop by. And if you factor in vacations, I'm on 8 weeks until the start of Jaguar training camp.
Look at you.
So we're going to go division by division beginning this week. All 32 markets, one division a week. We start in the AFC East. My man Sal Capaccio, WGR Radio in Buffalo and the Bills Radio Network to recap the Buffalo Bills offseason.
Hey, is you telling me if I turn on the radio tonight, I get Hacker Nation and D-Rock on the same show?
That's dynamic.
Like you telling me
Not only D-Rock, you get Capaccio as well.
Like my night's not
That's
planned.
BTJ and Travis Hunter and Trevor Lawrence right there.
Hey, man.
Thanks, Hack. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Hack's the best. Hack's part of the Frangie Show team, by the way, too.
That's right.
He's part of the club. Folks, that'll do it for our program. Don't go anywhere. Hacker's up next. Baloo's on vacation, so Hacker follows us right away. We'll be here tomorrow, same bad time, same bad channel. For Hays and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.